while we get started, I want to say thank you guys so much from Watchpoint. We're going to take it away from now. And Washington's Justice, this is their opportunity to land that first seed spot within the May Melee knockout tournament.
I pulled a Johnny.
Oh yeah, they must be feeling pretty good. Washington Justice, though, they looked a little bit shaky, I think, the other day, but we'll see if those nerves have kind of been shaken off. I like the new look of the Justice, and especially Decay playing well. And who's really surprised, let's be honest, but his Trace has just been looking phenomenal. There's a reason why he's on the roster, and almost impermanently as well. I would prefer to see him more as like a permanent fixture in the role, but they do like swapping people in and out. And the reason why I say shaky, the other day when they were playing against Boston Uprising and Valentine was playing the Doomfist, they almost seemingly didn't want to switch off this Hangzhou composition that they were playing. And just to flashbang the Doomfist when he came in, it was Hangzhou, 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 and it was a little bit confusing to me, but we'll see if that does end up happening in this series. I doubt we're going to see a ton of Doomfist from Defiant, so it's probably something they don't need to worry about.
Yeah, and while we talk about some of the picks that we're going to see, why don't we take a look at the Toronto Defiant startup lineup here, and as we take a look at what we're going to see, we got Hisu, Nice, Sato, Michelle, Ansunjae, and Lastro, and the way that these players have played so far, they were able to beat the Atlanta Reign. They took out the Vancouver Titans during Week 2. So far, they're able to build up some of that momentum into that bracket, but they still need to find themselves to win this series, to find themselves into that May Melee knockout tournament that we keep reiterating. And so far, I believe they've only dropped 3 maps in total since the season has started.
Yeah, not bad whatsoever if you're the Defiant. They do have another match after this one, not directly afterwards of course, but it is against London, so you can imagine they're expecting to win that series. So if they do end up losing here, I guess it's not the be-all and end-all, but still you really want to collect the dub here to kind of cement yourselves as one of the top teams in NA and go undefeated, like you mentioned. Let's have a look at Justice though. Vicky, Decay. It's seemingly always about Decay. If you remember back last year, he was subbed in to play tank and the Zarya, and he was just dominating come playoffs.
Yeah, when we were talking about flex players earlier, looking at the shock lineup, Decay is one of those players that you can't ignore, though, when you look at the Washington Justice, just being able to juggle, being that flexible DPS. You have Assassin joining him, Mag, Fury, Bebe, and Closer. And the way that the Justice have done so far, I believe they've only dropped 3 maps out of the 12 that they've played so far. So overall, though, we were talking about it earlier, and they look a little bit more inconsistent in comparison to the Toronto Defiant so far.
Yeah, what's not inconsistent though, Vicky, is Bebe's profile picture thing. It's definitely rank 1 in the league out of all the shots that we do have of him, so that's kind of nice. Mag, yeah, let's touch on him real quick. Rookie coming into the season, and a lot of people hyped him up as probably one of the best main tanks we're going to have in the league. He hasn't really lived up to that expectation just yet. Of course, former Runaway, and of course, surprise, surprise, Runaway, they're pretty good players, and they do have a lot of talent still in contenders that could move up to the league at almost any point, it feels. But I want to see him come alive here. He needs to prove to everybody why he was so hyped up. Let's get into it though. Oasis will be our first map and is going to be Rush, and I'm excited because I want to see Decay on the Tracer, because the Tracer, his Tracer is crazy. Although I wouldn't mind seeing the Hangzhou too, depending on what stage we go to, can be very varied in what you want to run. If you run into city center, you could run a little bit of dive here and there with the Winston and the Fever, or if you go to something like University, you can do something a little bit different and just run a pure Rush. It doesn't look like we're going to city center though, so there you go. There's my wishes kind of already answered. So I think this map will kind of paint the picture of how these two teams really want to face off against each other and what kind of comps they feel more comfortable on.
I like how you touched up on Mag earlier, because when I'm looking at the Defiant, I'm thinking, you know, Sato, he's got some of that pressure too on his shoulders. He crucially needs to make sure he could put up another top-level performance that we had seen him give out before, make sure that he could peel for his backline, give him the time and space necessary to work the same magic that we had seen the Defiant really bring forward into that first week. As we get set up, though, the Justice, once again, have been just on a tear, and I feel like it's a little threatening, too, if you're looking at the Defiant.
Oh, yes, indeed. I mean, Hisu, yeah, absolute god. God gamer alert. on the McCree is going to be pretty terrifying, especially if you're Assassin. You can get pocketed, yeah, by the Brigitte, but it's still a matchup that you probably don't want to be on the receiving end of if you are the Echo player, if Hisu's on the other side. TP forward, no big shock. There's the Tracer swaps, and the only difference here is going to be the DPS in Assassin on the Echo and Hisu on the Kree. So high ground control is imperative for the Defiant, but already you can see Mag jumping up high and forcing the Defiant back, but that was a big nade from Bebe.
They were able to clean up the Defiant support line. Now they have no sustainability, and it's Justice making a strong statement on the Defiant, telling them, like, you know what? We're here to stand on this point. You guys can go home back.
Oh boy, what more could you want from your Honor player, really? Double Bionade, easy clap, and now they control the point. They take high ground, and that means Hisu's going to have a lot of like a harder time in getting an angle. You see them taking the far route around. The only saving grace here is they can hide around the pavilion in the middle to stop a lot of that damage coming through, but Assassin's going to make use of that as well, just dip diving and dodging around the top dome there with that little ledge. They are contesting the point, but they're just waiting for this dive to come in. Yeah, Mag overextended just a little bit.
Actually trying to beat them before, but actually falls through at the same time. That is not what he wanted. That face of frustration right there as he goes down, and it's DK taking a lot of that damage. I like the way that Justice, they're actually just going to give this space over to Defiant. Another big anti, though, not going to have a follow-up just yet, as they are going to try to contest for as long as possible. They found Fury now, and that's nice. Okay, finding that pulse bomb pick off of Closer. Justice, they're going to waver off this point and allow Defiant to move in.
Yeah, that was a big anti from Lastro there at the middle of the fight. He actually hit Fury when his bubbles were down, so he can be healed. He insta-dies, and then Defiant steamroll the point, and now they can take that high ground that they so desperately need. Assassin's going to have the copy available soon too. I'm curious on who does copy. It'll be very situational, but ideally you want to copy the Winston. That'll be kind of cool to double dive Winston, and then you can get bubbled in as well if needed. It is nice though with the clean half a clip, and whoa, he threw that pulse bomb. My God, that was like cross map.
Wow, and that was just definitely a way to pressure out those backlines. But now Nice isn't in the fight, and it's Hisu pulling the trigger on the Deadeye. Big anti onto Mag, but he's already tossed.
Oh, Lastro's dead.
Nice out of his fight, and Lastro actually was off to the side. He was unfortunately tossed back. It looked like Mag actually was a perpetrator of that too, because he forced him over to the side. Now with the rest of Justice moving in, they found 2 picks onto Defiant, and Michelle will be able to come right back in with a grab.
Wow, Mag just Goomba stopping Nice at the very start of that fight, and yeah, like you said, push Lastro straight off the map, straight into the cars, insta-killing him. Didn't even need to do any more damage. Trying to survive, at least have Rally, but Closer's going to be able to match that. Assassin has the copy, like they didn't need to use much in that fight whatsoever. And Sada uses Primal Rage too, Lastro used Nano, like it's not a good spot if you're the Toronto Defiant right now. Washington Justice can take this fight super early. The only thing they have to worry about is this Graviton Surge, but because they're on the high ground, yeah, good luck lobbing it up there and getting any meaningful follow-up.
Yeah, and they're splitting the forces too, so you have 3 people right now on the point to manage to waver Defiant off. The Rally, though, is going to have Justice jump down. They're going to start the engagement after Hisu has gone down. They have to remember about that grab that Michelle has, like you may mention. And Assassin gets put to sleep immediately. Tries to wait out that duplicate. He's going to be able to dive in and find Sato at the same time. You're by the traffic, though. Watch out. Where's your Uber driver taking you with the grab? And he's still going in. Somebody stop Mag. No, here's the bubble.
Wait, he's not dead yet.
Oh my,
he jumped.
What?
No way. What?
What?
He's been playing, I'll tell you what he's been playing. He's been playing that custom game mode where you have to bounce off the cars and dodge the traffic. That was so silly. Oh, he survived one with a bubble, then I think he jumped to the side and dodged the other car. His team were already dead. The round was already over at that point, so it just looked kind of funny. But that was so nice from Assassin. He jumped in, he copied the Winston. He actually accidentally got woken up by someone from the Toronto Defiant. It was a sick sleep, don't get me wrong. But as soon as he wakes up, he puts Bubble down, and then what happens? Well, they get grabbed, but it's okay because he's primaled, and a lot of that hitbox of the Graviton Surge is taken up by his primal body, and they have to get through Bubble as well. So even if the grab was good luck getting any meaningful follow-up after that. And yeah, the rest is history. Nice play from Assassin to copy into the Winston and instantly get a Primal Rage.
That was a great way to flip that point too and manage to keep your foot in there. As Defiant, they were trying to get that point first, as they are right now, ready making their way over and trying to take control over the high ground.
Yeah, comp swap off from the Defiant too. Pure Brawl. Very classic. Bebe does not want to be there. Maybe Sato doesn't either. He actually got anti-nade and they're just going to run down. Or luckily enough, Mag actually gets anti too, and Sato sleeping, not too much of an issue. Gets immortality fielded. Nice does end up trading, but one less tank on the field. There's a whole lot less space that Justice can acquire, and it does look like they're just going to give it up to Defiant. Maybe Decay stalls from some extra time, but as soon as he recalls, he has to get out.
Nice making a swap over to the Sombra, just deciding what to go in with the rest of Defiant as they take control of their point first. And Justice, they're going to be able to dive in. Mag has that bubble around himself, and here comes Nice. You see him on the back line, just trying to catch DK at the same time.
Maybe he's already dead.
Yeah, maybe he's out of this fight, and that just leaves closer here with the rest of Justice to move right in, but you have to be wary of the fact that the rest of Defiant, they're taking a lot of damage, but luckily with Lastros and Matrix, it's going to be able to not only buy some time, but also buy some space.
Yeah, Bebe dying there at the start of the fight is super bad. They just can't let that happen. It was a very close boot there from Anson J. He almost managed to get Fury off the map. I think it looked like he B-hopped, using his right click there to get back on. Decay has Pulse Swarm, potentially looking for something in the back line. Forcing out Lamp here would be the greatest feat he can achieve currently. Doesn't look like he's trying to go for it. And Mag's already dead.
Yeah, now that Mag's gone, here comes Decay with the Pulse. He gets stunned though! He got stunned, his plans have a dent on them, and he's forced to back off after Assassin and Mag are now down, and the rest of Justice are going to find themselves back in the spawn with Defiant holding this lead nearly 60% already on this point, uncontested.
Yeah, it seems like they're just taking these fights a little bit too slow, Vicky. Like, Decay was waiting in the backline for so long, he felt like he needed to go in. Of course, they weren't able to actually force Hisu to use Flashbang as well, so he was dicing with death just a little bit. And now Defiant have a lot of ultimates coming online. So with the Justice, though, but I would rather be in the Defiant shoes currently. You can stall out for a long time at this point. 75%, you're going to make this final fight. And Decay's already burned that recall.
Yeah, he was getting pressured, though, by 3 members of Defiant. The Shatter coming in from Sato. Defiant not trying to utilize too many of those ultimates other than the M-Matrix and Shatter. Instead, they're trying to build into this EMP. They found Assassin again, and Assassin really has not been able to find his footing onto this point. You have Decay interrupting the backlines, but for how long? When you have Mag now on the Primal and being able to try to push around Defiant, and big anti onto Sato. Despite that sound barrier helping them out, it was to no use as Justice now have been able to take control. They were trying to wait as long as possible. Big anti, and with the follow-up on this grab, it's going to be Assassin able to following up off of Fury and cleaning up the rest of Defiant.
Okay, so humor me this just real quick. I think Assassin actually dying there at the very start, not so bad, because he didn't actually use copy, and they still have this for the preceding fight. The Defiant kind of took that on the chin, and we're like, okay, that's fine. We use Window, we use Beat, we use Shadow, okay, but we still have EMP. We still have that Deadeye. We still have Self-Destruct as well. And look at the position that Nice is in currently. He's setting up for a big EMP on the front line. If he can catch Assassin, this is going to be perfect.
And the way they've been rotating through these ultimates are so fantastic. And here comes a duplicate. He gets hacked though, and he gets immediately melted and booted off the duplicate. Now the tacked on damage that we're seeing right here from Hisu, he's on the backlines. He has a Deadeye. You have to keep your eyes right now on Hisu. The follow-up though, Mag and Assassin are gone. And Justice, they have to find DK, who's been able to have so much impact on the backlines. It's just managing of keeping him out of the fight. Now the Pulse Bomb's on in line 2, and Hisu does manage to clear out the points with this Deadeye. Justice are going to respect it.
Wow, yeah, okay, so someone needs to be able to touch. Mag is very, very close by, so he's good. And he's going to have Nano as well if they need to use it. But the window's going to open up from Lastro, and they can just chunk people down from afar.
And look, they're not contested either off to the side. It's just really Decay that could really help them out here. And Ansujay gets antied, but he gets back into this fight. Lastro's taking a quick nap. Michelle's about to get demeched, and he does. He gets the reset with the Diva Bomb. And it's Lastro helping out Sato, make sure to take care of those front lines. Decay is still running away, though, in the back line, taking care of Nice. And Fury, unfortunately, won't be in this fight. It's overtime on board for the Justice to try to flip this point, but it's Defiant, though, trading in numbers. Somebody needs to take care of Mag, that's on the high ground, but here comes Sato with the Shatter. Nobody else left to follow up, and it's just a matter of Ansujay getting Sato out of the fight, and unfortunately, he's going to fall through. Luckily for Justice, though, they are able to try to flip this point out of overtime.
Yeah, and they have EMP for next fight as well. That was a really nice window from Lastro there, but he was just inches too late on throwing out Drone, doing a little bit of healing. He had to burn the bubble from the Winston to try and heal the Reinhardt, who was trying to back up out of it as well. There were just ever so slight mistimings there from Lastro, especially that immortality field to try and save one of his teammates. That caused them to lose that fight. EMP rush here from the Justice.
And they are going to try to hold in the EMP. Now finding 4 huge here to fight the follow-up onto Sato and Michelle. If they can find Sato, and Lastro's gone down too. That leaves Michelle and Ansun J, and it's not going to be enough to try to deal with Justice and the amount of pressure that they've been able to reverse the situation in their favor on this point.
It's final fight. Someone has to touch now from the Defiant.
What? Oh, they do. Sneakily, though, they find Nice over to the side. He was trying to stay all stealthy. And he had to get out of that mode, too, so that way he could push it into overtime. But it's going to be a cleanup. They're trickling in right now. Jocelyn Sato gets hacked. And the overtime, how long is it going to be before the Defiant just trickle back into that spawn?
Yeah, I mean, Fury has grab too, right? Nice can come in with an EMP, but it's all for naught, really. There's the grab on the solo support. Ants and J Lashro, they both get naded as well. That is going to be it, I can imagine. EMP is pretty good. Problem is, no follow-up. Justice, they're going to take the first map in the series. And to start this one off pretty strong. I mean, Decay's looking good, but at the end of the day, man, it's just small mistakes from Defiant, man. That's all I can put it down to. Like, Lastro not hitting those crucial lamps and them just kind of getting out-rotated. It was cool to see Assassin come back in OT with the Sombra, and that kind of spelled their doom. I was curious if he was actually going to get that EMP at the end. I'm like, there's no way he charges it that quickly. He managed to get it. EMP the next fight. Final fight then for the Defiant. They end up trickling on, and it was not to be with that grab from Fury, securing them at the very end there. Taking 2 stages. Not quick sharp, though, I will say, Vicky.
Yeah, I mean, Sato Michelle had got caught into that EMP, and yeah, it was a lot closer than what we had witnessed within our first series, isn't it, here? But we got a good fighter in our hands, and there's more to come, guys. Make sure to stay tuned, because we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we're going on to a map number 2.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back, everyone, and we're here with Power Rankings with IBM Watson. The top 10 tanks after week 2 are Mag sitting at number 7 and Fury at number 10. Both these tanks have been able to really perform as to why they're in those top 10 rankings. And we can't ignore Sato, of course, who is number 9, and all of these tanks overall have that skill to stay in that top 10 consistently after week 2.
Oh, 100%. I do like how neat the power rankings currently are. 2 Outlaws.
Oh, yeah.
2 Philly, 2 Hunters. If Fury or Mag could like go down or go up a couple of spaces, that would be great. But yeah, I mean, Mag, Fury. I'm surprised. Honestly, I'm going to be a bit. I was a little bit surprised to see Mag that high. I would have expected Fury and Mag to kind of flip, like I mentioned before, in the pre-show or in the post-game, pre-game is what I mean, not post-game. We're not finished yet. But I don't think Mag's fully lived up to expectations, or at least the expectations that I put on him. I thought he was going to be one of the best tanks we had in the league. Maybe just needs a couple more weeks to kind of get there. He is definitely showing promise, though, especially on the Justice, and you'd hope so, especially being surrounded by people like Decay and Closer, who have been in the league before. And Decay's monster performance on the DPS kind of leaves the tank, it's like, okay, leaves a little bit of pressure off yourself, you know? If you know you've got a DPS that is popping off, you're going to be able to make more risky plays, you're going to be able to play more aggressive, so he kind of plays off Decay very well. So it's been nice. It's been nice to see Mag, and it's good to see him in the top 10 as well of the IBM Watson Power Rankings. Anubis is our next map here, though.
Yeah, as we get started and we go into our next map. Right now, the Washington Justice, they're honestly showcasing that this is the team that's competing for best in the league. And with a rather close game, our last map was with the Defiant. Defiant aren't too far behind, so hopefully making some of those small adjustments going into this upcoming map. Yeah,
for sure. It just felt like Justice had that clutch factor at the very, very end. I mentioned it before, but Assassin coming back in on Sombra and being able to build EMP extremely quickly, and then winning the preceding fight off of that EMP. It's just those very small clutch things that are just really setting apart the Justice from the Defiant currently. Defiant, though, let's get into this map. They're on the defense first. They're going to show a little bit of that echo that Justice was showing a little bit earlier on. Going to have Nice on that, and then Hisu on the Kree again. Again, it's more on the Brigitte to heal the Echo up in the skybox. And this is a fairly nice map for Echo too. A lot of kind of hiding places you can kind of dip into. You're not going to be in the air as much as someone like a Farah is, and you can definitely hide behind the shields. But if you go for an incredibly aggressive early dive on the archways, Nice can basically just sit on top of you and just laser beam you down, you know? So they're going to have to suppress him if they want to make a dent. All Decay started out on Widow to see if he could find a pick, but nothing crazy. And then they switch Assassin over to the Sombra.
Okay. Living up to
so
the
just
name.
wanting one hack, ideally. So it's the same kind of way the Sombra's been playing. Vicky, they just kind of send Sombra to the back or to the sidelines and then find a hack on the Winston, Diva, like just anything. Or the, on the Zarya, or even Nice for that matter.
Starting off nicely, though, with the Justice actually getting out of the situation. It was a rather big ante coming in from Lastro, but Bebe actually gets out of that situation, is able to use Fade so that way they could drop that ante off of the Mora. And here comes the Justice trying to waver Defiant off of this high ground to battle for the plateau. And you're talking about Nice, when now he has to get dove on by Fury, and that's going to be the person who's going to really try to attack on that focus onto them. Now Decay has found Hisu. The number advantage is already into Justice as they are already moving
Nice
right onto
too.
this point. That's both DPS out of the fight for Defiant. We're making some swaps already, and Defiant, they're getting sandwiched. Justice are moving on to this point, trying to speedrun their way in comparison to what we had seen in that first map. This isn't looking close already in trying to take this point. It's not over yet, though. You still have Michelle trying to get in some of the extra energy. He does have that sustainability, but with both supports down, it's going to be Michelle meeting them in the spawn.
Wow, there you go. Very quick rotation. And who died first? Well, it was Nice and Hisu. That was rather unfortunate. It looked like Justice kind of swapped positions with a Defiant there. Defiant went scurrying back to the Mega Health Pack room in the little elbow, and they couldn't really do anything. They were cut off from their DPS, and as soon as Mag puts down the bubble, or even Fury just DMs a lot of those heals, Nice and Hisu are left high and dry. Decay with a Pulse Bomb. He's trying to look for something. A nice hack onto Sado to start it off with a Coalescence to follow up.
Oh, Sado gets out of the situation. DK gets stunned. Will be able to follow up and is enabled by Bebe's Coalescence, so that way the rest of Justice could start the initiation. EMP finding 4 though. Sado has that primal, he's coming right back in, but somebody stopped Decay. He got anti and he still got away with finding that pulse bomb stick onto Michelle. Closer has a sound barrier, it's gonna keep Justice back alive in this fight, and it's Mag that has a primal that's trying to toss Ansu-J around, so that way that rally doesn't really have that much of an impact. Somebody save Lastro though. He's gonna get damaged on by DK, but he gets out of this fight. I can't believe it. He got hacked here too, and Defiant are still holding on. They're trying to clean up Justice. They're trading in numbers after losing Lastro and Michelle, but they have the spawn advantage right behind them, and the Justice are still losing some numbers in this trade. Did somebody stop Assassin though? He's still getting away with these hacks for free, and luckily since he can hack that bottom health pack, it's actually going to be a big deal because that's a big health pack that, you know, you're not going to have Defiant have.
Okay, nice. They eventually clean off Justice at the point. That save onto Lashro there, the bubble, the nade on himself to make himself healthy, and just him scurrying around saved the Defiant's bacon 100%. He may have gone down a little bit later, but he was still able to impact, output a lot of the healers into the tanks and anybody else that was left alive on the point, which then left for people to come out of spawn. Him staying alive there was perfect. That's definitely what saved them. Hisu now is readying up with this EMP. Looks like they want to go early. You can see he spotted a translocator from Assassin. He's going to... Oh, he's not even going to kill it. Assassin actually just comes back in, and now Hisu's in trouble. Oh, luckily he has a translocator back in spawn, though, but that could have been disaster. If Assassin didn't recall there, they would have known... Well, maybe have known where he was and been able to take him out. EMP versus EMP, though, as Assassin looks to make his move.
And that's why you saw that Hisu was trying to set up a position to make sure Assassin is a problem. Assassin's getting a lot of damage tacked on, and Decay is hacked, and Decay won't be able to get out. Sitting duck, unfortunately, when you're the Tracer getting hacked. And it's the Justice trying to utilize his Coalescence to help out the survivability, but you see they're not trying to be too overly aggressive here, Jaws, as they are going to wait back with the rest of Justice.
Yeah, as soon as you lose one there, you want to be able to regroup, go again. You still have 3 minutes and you've got a tick, so not too bad. You only need 2 extra ones, of course. Just waiting for the EMPs. But you can see how impactful one hack is, right? You hack the Tracer, yeah, you're dead. You hack Mag, yeah, you're dead. Fury dead, like Bebe dead. It's a tough spot to be in. I want to see where Assassin is in relation to everybody else. I can't see him currently. Oh, okay, he has it actually there with them. Okay, still trying to fight people near their archway. They begin the push though.
Yeah, and Nice just trying to tack on some pressure on the backline. He's still doing it. He has the rest of Justice funneled closer to Anti though. Can he finish this job? He doesn't. The sound barrier is now online to help out Justice make this engagement. See Assassin getting to a position, trying to get set up for the EMP. Does pull the trigger on it, finding Ansun-J and Michelle and Sado at the same time, but Sado is able to actually utilize the primal at the same time, and the rally's going to keep the rest of Defiant grounded on this point. You see the way that Justice is positioned, they're not trying to be too grouped. At the same time, they're actually trying to give some space, and with Bebe falling, that just leaves closer with the engagement and the sustainability, and they're going to hold on to that for this next fight, especially with the sound barrier.
Wow, that EMP did almost nothing. Actually, next to nothing. It got 3. It got both tanks and Ansu-J. Ideally, just jump on Ansu-J. Just delete the Brig. And then they don't have rally. And then you can follow that up with some more ults. But unfortunately, they won't be able to kill anybody. Hisu's still holding to this EMP as well. Like, that is insane. This man has diamond hands. Like, there's nothing letting go of this.
He's here picking them, and Lastro is in trouble. He's off to the side. Luckily, he can help sustain himself. He has a Nano Boost at the same time. Justice have Bebe's Coalescence again, being able to get that ult rather quickly. Ansun-J is out of this fight, and Mag is taking a quick nap over to the side. He had his primal, but it's going to waste the end of it right there. He gets hacked again. They're just trying to clean him up, and they do so. Dead. Good follow from Michelle. Not only did they put him asleep, but they hacked him at the same time, and then Michelle cleaned him up. And currently with Defiant falling down, losing heads, Michelle is going to be able to get back into this fight.
Oh, nice stick.
But here comes Decay with the stick on the pulse bomb, utilizing that onto Sado. Fury's taking a nap, and somebody stopped Decay. He's once again being a terror, but there's less than 60 seconds on board for the rest of Justice to move on to this point.
Yeah, they're still eventually killing Defiant people, but it's taking a lot of time. Oh, okay, Hisu got hacked out of EMP. What? Oh my word. You saw him come out and he was ready to go. EMP comes out from the Washington Justice now.
Oh, Justice, this was absolutely huge. He found Sato, and that's the reason why Sato goes down. He'll be able to get into this fight with Primal, but Justice are finding these numbers onto Defiant. Now they have a clear view over this point. They've got the second tick, and Defiant are going to try to trickle in, but for how long can they hold on here, Juz? They have 2 now. The rally's going to try to wait, but the pulse bomb is going to clear out on Sunjae.
That should just be it. I mean, the rally brigging going down, like, it's surely over now. Sato gets hacked after he comes out of Primal Rage as they force themselves onto the point. Nice is trying to keep the game alive, but it looks all for nothing right now. The self-destruct finds 0 people, and it is all about Justice cleaning people up. Decay and Bebe are doing just that. The supports are dead. OT's here. It ticks down, and there we go. The Justice, they managed to cap point number 2. No time left in the bank. It is Assault and Anubis after all, but wow, Hisu, Vicky, held that EMP for so long. Assassin was 99%, and as soon as that hack came onto him when he was activating EMP, I was like, oh, that must have been a counter EMP, but no, it was just a manual hack from Assassin, and then he got his EMP online, boom, hit 4 people, and that was it really. The round was over. But what an unbelievable play from Assassin. That is ridiculous. He must have been sitting there waiting for Hisu or something. They knew he had EMP because he hadn't used it for 3 almost plus minutes, it felt like there.
Yeah, that was amazing positioning if you were Assassin. Gonna get a quick DK highlight reel here, and just the way that Assassin had played that, you can see he had hacked Hisu, got him out of there right as he was using his own EMP, and it canceled it, and that was so huge because Defiant were relying so hard on Hisu's EMP to hold that defense that the Justice, I mean, look at the way that Assassin just played that. That was such a way to not only put a point on board here, Jaws, but to make a message, to send the message for Defiant to really figure out that this is a problem here if you're both DK and Assassin.
Yeah, you put the fear of the Sombra into Hisu a little bit there, don't you? It's like, whoa, I don't want to get manual hacked again. That's going to feel pretty bad. They're on the offense now. Are they going to run the same thing? Hisu's starting out on the Ashe. Again, maybe he scared him too much. Maybe he just wants to go on something else that can just kind of click heads. They are going to match Washington Justice in their comp, just through and through. So mirror for either side. I want to see how they take this in, because you have such a better position if you're on the defense, especially if you're Decay. I mean, you wouldn't want to go up against that if you're Nice, that is for sure. You can see him sitting all the way back. His job is basically just to chunk out Nice as much as possible. As soon as those armor packs are used up, it's very hard for Lastro to then get a lot of healing. Nice kill onto Nice to start off with. Don't forget about the other hit scan on your team in the Ana when she scopes in. So yeah, you can maybe dodge Decay, but you can't dodge both Bebe and Decay.
Especially with those comms too, coming in from Justice with Bebe being able to get that follow-up, and it's a reset, and you're stuck here at this choke point with Mag actually looking down while holding onto the high ground, just waiting for Nice to come in, and the dive over, trying to find their way to break through the Justice defense system with them holding the high ground. It can be a little difficult. You can see Assassin already at this off angle, and somebody needs to deal with them, and nobody's in sight, and DK as well is going to be able to find Hisu. That's 2 people down from the Defiant anti onto Lastro, and he's going to find himself back in the spot too here, Jaws, and this is not a good situation to be in if you're the Defiant.
Oh, absolutely not. I mean, almost half your time bank is gone already. And do you see what I mean about, I spoke about it earlier on before the Defiant kind of got rolled on their first defense, but Assassin's able to just hide on that little perch on the top right if you're looking at it from this angle. He can sit there, wait for people to come in, and then Hisu's going to be the one to try and find the angle. He's forced to do that. Assassin can sit up on the skybox or on that little ledge and then just shoot people as they come in. He can dip in, he can dip out. Hisu's then have to force to swing out to try and do something, but then he exposes himself to the just everything that the Justice have to offer. Anti-nade onto Sato. That's going to delay them for a little bit longer. 2 minutes left in their time bank. They've got Nano. They have Copy coming online as well. I can imagine it's going to be a double Winston. But Michelle, 50% towards a grab, and Fury already has his. Justice, if I were them, I'd take this extremely quickly, knowing that they have grab.
Yeah, especially now with that time bank that Defiant has to work with. They're going to get a little desperate here. The nano boost onto Sato, try to build into this primal, but at least clearing some space to allow the rest of Defiant to move in, and great pick off of DK onto that high ground, which means that that extra pressure that would have come through from DK isn't going to be a threat anymore for this fight. And the nano boost and the grab coming in, allowing Fury to actually allow the rest of Justice to pop off, and they're going to clean up shop around Defiant. 4 members down. It's just a matter of time before Nice and Hisu meet themselves too. That's a team wipe and a great follow from Justice after Fury's grab.
What a huge grab from Fury there. Unreal. And you saw Sado commit his whole self too to try and kill Decay. I thought Decay was being a little bit BM there, knowing that the Nano Winston can get another leap off during that time. He did end up going down, but then hey, Fury's like, we press the go button now. This is pretty easy. The Winston cannot use the bubble in order to block the anti-nade. We just go in. There's nothing stopping us now. They're going to go into this next fight with Rally, with Grab coming online too, but Sado opens this up with a Primal Rage.
Now trying to toss aside Fury, who's going to be able to try to go in the back. Does manage to tack on some of that extra damage onto Sado, but he's going to get right back into the fight, get onto this high ground, stop Decay's approach to try to take that high ground from him. Instead, he's in the back lines and he's found
They can't do
Michelle.
anything.
And they can't. They've just split the attention of the Defiant that they, unfortunately, when they're split up like this, Sado, who's not going to help them out on the front lines, is unfortunately not going to be enough, because then you have Michelle just pushing in through the choke point, and now they're staggering through with less than 30 seconds on board here, Jaws.
Yeah, someone needs to be able to touch. I mean, who's it going to be? I think someone's going to have to swap to Tracer or Ball maybe for Sado to actually get this touch. They got 14 seconds to go. They have got grab, yes, they got nano. They can nano the Winston into the grab or even nano Niced. It looks like Hisu switching over to the Tracer, but they're still running into Bob, grab, nano, and Copy coming up for the Justice.
They gotta do something. They gotta do something quick. There's nobody touch the point. Where's the point? You were right there. No, and the ball would have pushed him aside too. Washington Justice in a cleanup on this second map, and now they're at match point.
Oh my word. I was like, okay, he's going to be very stretched for time there. 15 seconds to go and you're only just switching over to Tracer. It's probably on the Winston. No. He jumps in, gets nanoed. And to be fair, even if he did get nanoed, he's going to get grabbed off the point. You saw Fury just lob it out when it already said victory. There was almost no hope, it felt like, for the Toronto Defiant. It was just small plays. And I like what you said, actually, during that last fight there, Vicky. The split attention. You had Sado go to the high ground, but Decay's playing on the floor. He can't then get healed because he was like 200 HP when he was up there. The supports have to kind of peek him. He has to peek. And there was not much they could do. And then Fury just kind of runs to their backline and, well, Echo does Echo things and does a lot of damage with sticky bombs, and then supports can't do anything. So Sado was completely out of that fight. It was basically a 6v5 in the favor of the Justice there.
Yeah, and with the Washington Justice now at match point, they really want to get that first seed spot. It does trickle down to if they could capture this third map that we'll have at the other side of this break. Don't go anywhere because there's going to be more Overwatch League action coming to you soon.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, America's largest and fastest 5G network. Set your sights on the competition with T-Mobile. And by Xfinity, the preferred internet provider of the Overwatch League.
Welcome back after that short break. And to celebrate the upcoming regional knockouts and the first tournament of the Season 2, we're actually excited to release a skin that captures the fighting spirit of the competition. MMA, the perfect wording on the name of the skin, just saying. Get it while it's on sale for 200 tokens, and it will be out of the store on May the 11th. So make sure you pick that one up. And of course, you can gain tokens just by watching as well and connecting your Battle.net account to YouTube. So there you go. You can earn yourself some nice little tokens to buy the skin.
Yeah, definitely not with exclamation point drops, by the way, guys. Make sure you're connected. And going in our player resume from Indeed, Hisu. Of course, this player has been facing off against fellow Sombra and former Runaway teammates, Assassin, who also played with Mag back in Runaway. And you can take a look, being able to have that 2019 Korean Season 2 champion title from that Runaway team, and having the top 3 fewest deaths, 10 minutes as Sombra in 2020, being able to get that tied with Yaki. Number 1 enemies EMP'd. I mean, we've seen him already, and that's to no surprise.
Stat, I think.
That is interesting, especially 10 minutes on Sombra. I mean, the amount of hacks that Hisu's been able to put out is oof.
Yeah, I mean, funny looking at that stat, the number 1 enemy is EMP'd, when in this game he got his EMP'd actually hacked by Assassin. So, yeah, that's a little bit of an ouch. But, yeah, still, Hisu very, very good at the Sombra. It's just Assassin caught him out just a little bit there. We do have a sub, though, for the Justice, a fan favorite in Jerry stepping in. Assassin is taking a bit of a back seat. We are going on to Blizzard World, so maybe a little bit more hit scan from Jerry here.
It's going to be interesting to see how they incorporate Jerry, because then this is a little bit a toss in the hat for Defiant to deal with as Jerry makes his way over and Assassin takes a seat. To enable Jerry and the way that he's been able to pop off with DK, it's going to be interesting to see how that synergy is going to work together, especially with Matt creating so much space previously for both Assassin and DK, and now he's going to be able to do that for Jerry. It's going to be a scary situation if you're the Defiant.
Oh yeah, I mean, you are now sitting at match point for the Justice. Like, you need to be able to get back in this. Your run has been so good recently. The Justice want to just hammer it home now. Just get a clean 3-0, continue their streak of going undefeated, and they'll be 4-0. I mean, that's guaranteeing yourself a place in the knockout stages. So, feeling pretty good if you're a Justice fan. As we go into Blizzard World now, the Toronto Defiant are on the offense first, and Justice on the defense means we'll get to see what they're going to run. And yeah, like I said, Jerry coming in speaks volumes. I think a lot more hit scan DPS here, maybe a little bit of the Ashe or the Kree here. And it does look like the Ashe is going to be the call of the day. Defiant, they're going to have to come up with some miracle play at the moment. I mean, Anubis kind of put a dent into them, especially if you're Hisu, man. I can't get over the hack on the EMP. Like, that's got to affect your mental just a little bit, especially playing the Sombra. He did switch over to Ashe, which, of course, would have been better on that point, on the second attack there. But still, not feeling great about themselves, I can imagine. But keeping your head in the game is the most important. Justice rolling out with the ball and the Sigma on the defense.
You talk about mental, and that definitely is something that could affect these players, especially when you're down 2 maps already. Although it's a clean new slate going into Blizzard World, and Toronto Defiant, they're already getting set up. Hisu on the Faro, not too sure if they're going to stay with this. I think they're just checking. Yeah, just trying to scout out to see what Justice has got on board. And we're making already the necessary swaps. Sato now back on the Winston, and we're going to be able to boost the rest of Defiant. Okay, I like this. I'm interested to see how this plays out, especially with Hisu's also sticking to the Sombra.
Yeah, okay, full dive from the Toronto Defiant. Exactly the same thing we saw Shock run a little bit earlier. Just dive on one target in the back line. Best thing about dive too, especially against Zen and Brig, there's not like a crazy amount of healing unless Brig's permanently keeping up Inspire, right? There's not a lot of on-the-spot healing either, like instant heals like Nade can do, like Ana. It's going to be a tough time if they let them get on top of Jerry, on top of Bebe, on top of Closer. Of course, with the comp though, they're going to be able to set up this little pillbox on the top here. Or actually, I take it back. Nope, Defiant is just going to take that for free.
Wow. The way that Justice is actually just rotating around Defiant, they're not trying to overextend it. It's DK who finds the first pick off of Nice. That's actually big here because you saw Justice, they weren't trying to overextend while the Defiant was making the rotations, and now they're tacking on a lot of damage with this Dynamite. You see Mag just wavering off on Sunjay. Yeah, they're forced to reset at this point, and that's time to take away from them, and the rest of the Defiant are still stuck in that side room.
Yeah, and now you just free ult charge. You are literally just an ult bank. It's so free. It's like playing against Josh in ranked. Like you're just a walking ult battery. I mean, you lose your tracer that early on? Bruh, yeah, reset, please. Decay's got pulse, by the way. Jerry, like you said, Dynamite's massive. 90% on Bob. Yeah, Defiant, they did a little bit. They've done a little bit healing. They got the Coalescence, which they're going to use first.
Something that you could get rather quickly, though. He's trying their best to make sure that Mag is threatened, but that's just tacking into the support ultimates for Bebe and Closer. That's just trying to go in, but he immediately fades out of that Gravitic Flux.
Fury got hacked
caught by it. And yeah, Fury, Fury actually, oh my, that's huge right there. And now Decay, though, is going to make up for that, being able to find Sato. That's one tank down, leaving Michelle to hold in the front lines, and Defiant now actually rotating safely over to the side. Nice goes down, and right now, Justice, they're looking fantastic. Despite Fury actually getting hacked out of that, I mean, we had our eyes on Hisu when we were talking about him earlier in those hacks, and unfortunately, though, they couldn't really get anything off of that.
That was really nice hack onto Fury there. Stopped. I believe there was only one person that would have got Flux because Lastro did use the Fade to get out of that Circle of Doom. Hisu's got EMP coming online though. This pulse bomb from Nice is going to have to be big. Justice burnt a lot in that fight. They're going to have Rally maybe the end of the engagement, but the Transcendence is going to have to get popped fairly early, I can imagine, as this dive comes through. Ideally, you want to save it for that EMP though.
Really, with Fury now going down, that's going to be Defiant, moving right back onto the point. They're going to trade that for Nice, though. It does have that Transcendence that you made note of, so that's something that allowed Justice to keep their feet planted on the ground. But with now only a minute left for the Defiant to make their way over Justice, they're going to try to rotate out. They're doing this passive-aggressive play where they're actually not trying to overextend the Transcendence now to keep Closer alive and to allow the rest of Justice to move right back on over. It's not getting contested yet until you see Decay here. He has the Pulse Bomb. He has to be wary of the Coalescence. You don't want to take too much damage. Oh, you gotta see Hisu. He's gonna wait for the opportunity. Finds 3, and Closer had popped the ultimate for the rally. He hacked somebody at the same time. That's 4 members hacked, and Justice have lost Fury as he gets demacked, and they're gonna have to actually be careful here because the Defiant now are still able to try to attack on this pressure. They're trying to get onto the point. They gotta get this payload moving. There's less than 30 seconds now to allow them Justice. They're still Decay has found Lastro's Mag. Okay, that's 2 members down from Defiant. It's still very doable with the bomb on board, and now they have less than 20 seconds. They gotta go for a reset, and they used so much here, minus Michelle's Diva Bomb.
Oh my goodness, Mag a little bit 2 BM there, actually pays for it with his life. Spawn points are relatively similar distance here, so Justice can get back into the fight. Mag has mines, however, only 1 person left. It's the Diva. Fury is not going to be long for this world, I can imagine, but Jerry does manage to collect the head of Nice. Point's going to get capped, potentially. It's going to be a close one. Mag's going to use the mines on the point, but they demac Fury.
Oh, they're not giving up this point just yet. Now with the minefields here, it's going to be difficult for Defiant to touch a leg on this point. They have to be wary of that. Decay here is trying to rack into this pulse bomb. He's trying to narrow down his focus onto Sato, who's rolling out of that situation, and then the sound barrier. Here comes the Transcendence once again from Bebe to help out the aggressive Justice, and with finding Sato in the process, Definer at automatically a disadvantage. He got hacked out of it. What? How does he keep consistently doing this? Jerry now having to trade that as Assassin's not here anymore. How does it keep happening to him? And the pulse bomb finds onto Bebe, but it doesn't matter. The Justice. What? I can't. The way that the Justice also just could manage to trickle back in and force Defiant off. Now they didn't even get the payload out of the garage here, Jaws.
I cannot believe Hisu got hacked again during EMP. That is ridiculous. You cannot be losing EMPs like that. You just can't be losing them. That was absurd. That 100% won them the fight at the very end there, but being able to trickle back on like you were saying was ridiculous. Fury was able to keep himself in mech and alive for long enough to stall out for a little bit longer. Decay then came back in, earned himself a pulse bomb, and forced actually the Translocator from Sombra. But stretching all the way back to when there was about 1 minute and 30 seconds left, there was actually one very small play that Mag did that stopped the Justice going down there and then. He managed to slam in to the entire core of the Defiant when they were leaping in to try and kill Bebe. Here's Jerry with the hack on the... Oh, he's lined up for it!
God, no.
He's actually just held out the claws and just hit him with the hack as Hisu hit the Q button. That is so unlucky, actually. So unlucky. I mean... Oh, man. I spoke about it before, but what a dent in the mental to not only happen once, but happen twice to you, where you get manually hacked out of EMP. Oh boy. Anyway, let's forget about the past just for the moment. 90% or 91 is all the Justice need to take this first point and take the series 3-0. They're going to TP Jerry up onto the high ground for the Widow, just try and get the pick. But Defiant have swapped their comp up completely. They're now going to Brawl. They've decided, no, we're not going to match up against the Justice dive. We're going to stick on the Brawl. We're going to hope Nice can isolate one of these tanks, but Justice, they need one big EMP from Jerry, and it should be all over. Defiant have to fight in this small, close-knit ball, so the EMP is going to be pretty effective against that.
It's a matter of how fast Jerry could rack into that EMP. The wall coming in, and it's going to be Toronto Defiant. They're still on the point, and they are able to waver Justice off. You saw the aggression coming in from DK. That you have to watch out for your backlines. Anti hitting 3 though onto Defiant. That's actually going to be huge. Tries to get a follow-up. Luckily, the Immortality field from Lastro saves the Defiant as they back off of that choke point and allow Justice to move on over.
Yeah, that was really nice. Forcing out the Immortality field that early is pretty big, especially if you just want to dive on one person. Not that many diveable targets on the side of the Defiant. I'm counting up the seconds. It should be about 10 seconds now before that Immortality field's online, so Justice aren't really going to make a move here. They're just building towards this nano boost. And Bebe can just launch Mag in.
You see the position getting set up here. The nano boost now onto Mag. It's going to go right onto the fight. The window that you have to avoid getting in some of that space. But luckily, Justice do have... Oh, not lucky for Jerry. Unfortunately, he didn't get behind the wall in time. But that's why you got to respect the wall, the amount of damage coming in. And the anti, luckily, Hisu has an Immortality field to live off of. But you can't live in the Immortality field when you have Mag smacking you around. And now Hisu's out. And the rest of Justice are moving on to this point. They only need to get 91%, like you mentioned here, John. And DK has the pulse bomb to follow into the grab. And that's 2 down. That's going to be a cleanup. And Defiant are going to find themselves back and booted into the spawn.
There's no way they'd be able to get in touch now. Like, what, the Lucio's going to touch? Maybe he gets beat, but it's looking highly unlikely.
No.
That percent is ticking up, and there we go. The Justice 3-0 in the series and continue their streak in NA 4-0 and a guaranteed place now in the knockouts.
I was not anticipating the day today, Jaws, to have these consistent 3 Overwatch going in all day today.
I know,
in the
I thought
matches,
it was going to be so close.
I just, with the matches that we had on board for us, it's just the Justice and the Shock had other plans, and this is what we have now going in for day number 2 here for the 3rd week of the May Melee Qualifiers.
Mag was so happy there, threw up the #1 right to the camera, making sure everybody knows. Mag had a fantastic game. That call at the very end, the Immortality field went down, but yeah, Winston Primal Rage knocked everybody straight out of it. No use having that around, and killed off the BAP instantly. And then the grab follow-up with Fury, the pulse one from Decay. It was like watching a symphony of Overwatch, the perfect plays here and there, and there was nothing the Defiant can seemingly do. They were completely written off sheet.
They had all the tools necessary, too, for that engagement. They waited long enough to be able to build into those ultimates, and their ult economies looked fantastic, so that way they could get that follow-up. But Mag was the initiator there. He jumped right in with the Primal, and he was actually able to clear shop. You made mention of it. The Immortality field was out of use. Once you're out of the field and the radius, there is no point of having it there. So Mag was able to disrupt the piece, and then the grab really finalized everything, enabling DK to get that Pulse Bomb double pick off onto the rest of Defiant.
Yeah, I mean, what was a miracle about that map was just the fact that they managed to hold on to point A for that long. It was off the back of that hack on the Sombra using the EMP. Like, that is just going to go down in the highlights for the rest of the year, I think. Or maybe even both of them. I don't know. We'll see. It's, yeah, what a crazy circumstance they found themselves in, being able to stall for that long. The Justice are here. They're not going to be messed with at all. Mag is feeling super confident. I think everybody is as well.
Yeah, and while we were looking at the Justice, why don't we take a look at DK, player of the match so far, and the way that the Washington Justice performed, enabling DK. I mean, look at this EMP. Finding 5, now cleaning shop. Here he comes to be able to clean up and actually get the follow-up off of Assassin. He did that too a few times when we had Jimmy actually rotate right back, Jerry rather, rotate right back over. And when you see Assassin and Jerry swap spots, it didn't see much of a difference. I mean, you have the Washington Justice still playing according to plan exactly as you would have had with Assassin being on board. Yeah,
I mean, I think they subbed in Jerry there for a little bit of extra firepower and like something like a Kree, but Hey, like, this is a good look for the Justice, like, super good. And who better to get the MVP than Decay, really? The guy's an absolute monster. Of course, added to the Justice last year at the tail end of 2020 and ended up picking up Zarya and just dominating the field on it. And now dominating back in his overall DPS. I mean, this guy's an absolute nutcase on Tracer. And you mentioned it just there, the perfect follow-up too. Synchronized. Everything just goes according to plan. Like I say, it's like a symphony. They're writing their own sheet music, and it's working out so well for them.
Yeah, we gotta play into their song, and right now, it's more like the other teams need to follow that symphony because the Washington Justice have secured themselves in that #1 seeded spot looking at the May Melee Knockout Tournament.
Oh yes, they have done. And oh man, who wants to face the Justice right now? Maybe the Outlaws. That clash of Titans will be exceptional, I think. I think the top bracket of NA currently is still undecided. I like the look of the Outlaws, but right now, looking at that performance from Washington Justice, I would feel pretty good if I were them as well, and I'd favor their chances too.
Yeah, on that note, why don't we throw it over to the desk here at Watchpoint. My friends, what do you think about the game that just happened? Because right now, the way that the Justice are looking, we'll figure out what their opinion is after this short break. Don't go anywhere because then it's going to be the Watchpoint desk talking about what they think about that match.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Welcome to the Watchpoint Post Show presented by IBM. We're joined now by Fury from Washington Justice. Hi Fury, 안녕하세요 Fury 선수.
안녕하세요.
Alright, so I heard that you're the team captain this year of Washington Justice. How are you contributing to the team as the team captain? 제가 듣기로는 이번 시즌 어떻게 보면 이번에 팀 주장으로 워싱턴 팀에 계시게 됐다고 제가 들었는데 좀 팀에게 좀 어떤 도움을 주고 계신가요? 팀 주장으로서.
뭔가 주장을 처음 하게 되긴 했는데 저보다 좀 어린 선수들이 많아서 그냥 경기 도중에 그냥 뭐 급해지지 말아나 좀 경기에 도움되는 말 위주로 많이 해주려고 노력하고 있는 것 같아요.
Right, so this is my first time ever as a team captain of a team. So during our matches, I sort of try to tell them, like how to like sort of go about playing the matches. And give me 1 second. Let me confirm something with Fury. 1 second. Sorry, guys. 퓨리 선수 아까 뭐 그 긴장이라고 했나? 뭐라고 했지? 팀 그 게임 도중에 뭘 한다고 하셨죠?
그냥 뭐 급해지지
게임 도중에
말아나
어떤 말 해주신다고 했죠?
뭐 흥분 좀
급해지지
덜
마라.
하고 네, 게임에 집중할 수 있도록.
Okay.
네.
Right, so Fury says that, I wanted to confirm, but yes, Fury says that he sort of talks a lot about, don't get too excited, or like, sort of, like saying, he says a lot of stuff that would sort of help out a lot in the matches, to like have the teammates have the teammates to focus on the match. And also, he's also the team's captain, because there are a lot of sort of younger players on his team as well. All right, my second question is, you played a lot of great main tanks. You've played with a lot of the great main tanks in the Overwatch League throughout your time in the Overwatch League. And this year is actually no exception. You're playing with Mag. How is it like playing with Mag? 이번 시즌에도 또 예전 시즌과 똑같이 좀 굉장한 좀 메인 탱커들과 퓨리 선수 항상 좀 같이 경기를 하셨는데요. 매그 선수와 좀 이번 연에 같이 하게 되셨는데 좀 어떤가요?
일단 컨텐더스에서 굉장히 팀을 캐리하는 것도 많이 봐왔었고 그래서 팀에 합류하기 전에도 좀 기대를 많이 하긴 했는데 그냥 예상보다 더 잘해주기도 하고 이번 연도에 조금 더 임팩트를 많이 좀 임팩트 있는 모습을 더 많이 보여줄 것 같아서 기대가 됩니다.
Right. So I've seen him like sort of carry his team in contender. So I was really excited, and I had high expectations of him being in a team, being in the same team with me on Washington Justice. And I'm really excited, and I feel like he's going to perform very, very well throughout the whole season as a main tank. All right, Fury, that is it for the post-match interview. Thank you so much. Congratulations on your win today, and let's head back to the desk. 감사합니다, 퓨리 선수.
감사합니다.
Oh, so is beautiful.
All right.
Don't worry.
I'm on
Welcome
it.
to the Overwatch Watch.
Yes,
Pre-show.
West Region, guys. That is
Yeah.
the standings right now.
You've got okay, sorry.
Yeah,
This is
so
the
we-
standings
You
that we
guys are
have.
a mess. Come on.
Yeah,
guys.
Washington
Just
Justice
say
on
that
top,
Washington is on
you know?
top.
Washington's on
No,
top.
no.
Houston Outlaws on the second, and after the win today, San Francisco Shock is coming up. He's there. They're right behind. Anything to note? Costa and Ring Force.
Oh my.
There we go. Sorry.
So it
I
helped?
walked over my keyboard. It wasn't my fault. He also made a quick appearance in the corner of your screen there, Danny. Yeah, no, I think you guys already covered it. Washington Justice and Outlaws, of course, they clinched it. Now Toronto Defiant, they're now on razor blades, I believe. So there's still some stuff which needs to get sorted out heading into the matches tomorrow. So still every match matters, and I can't stress this enough. I love that it's so close up until the very end, don't you guys? I very much enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Now it's on all those math brains to figure out the numbers for us, because none of us can. Let's be real. We would like to do the quick math for you, but we gotta be realistic about it. It just ain't happening. Now
I
going for
heard
quick math.
Danny has a PhD in math.
What?
Does he?
Danny.
Are you just
Yeah.
throwing
Me?
that out there to make him look bad if he doesn't figure it out now?
No,
I
that's
was
how
a
we
Phil-
all gets all the predictions right.
I was a film major. I suck at math.
At least you got a degree. I didn't get a single degree.
That's
So
pretty much a PhD. Don't worry about it.
Not a,
I mean,
don't
what is
know
a
about that
degree
one, but
really,
okay.
other than like a participation badge, right?
True.
Like-
Just a piece of paper that you get.
Yeah, exactly. Anyone can write a piece of paper, but not everyone can play Overwatch. Wow, segue. I want to talk about the match we just saw. Washington Justice, they were just not having it, all right? They dominated Toronto Defiant, and I feel like you, Jonathan in particular, you were a little bit disappointed because I believe in your pick'ems, you at least gave the Toronto a match. What did or didn't they do which made you a very disappointed grandpa?
yeah, I did give Toronto Defiant a map. Like, I really thought that they would win either Temple of Anubis or Blizzard World. Two maps they looked pretty shaky on against the Vancouver Titans the other week. But then instead of Toronto Defiant, they just decided to play into Washington Justice games, play a lot of Winston, and on Blizzard World play a lot of Lucio and Moira. I mean, I just didn't like that composition at all. You have a great flex support in Lastro, play around him, don't put him on Moira and try to rush in. I understand that Washington Justice is a bit scary when they're playing their own Sombra, Tracer composition like that. So you want to make it simplistic for yourself. But I just wasn't happy with Toronto Defiant's game plan at all. I think they should have slowed the game down a little bit, tried to force Washington Justice into their own hands, but they just weren't capable of that at all. So a little bit disappointed in the composition from Toronto Defiant. I thought they would be better, but now going into future matches for them, you gotta think, is Toronto Defiant really that good of a team, considering they were 2-0? You know, big question marks moving forward.
Right on. I mean, you also always, like, if you see those kind of results, you always have to take it with a grain of salt. Maybe go back, check out the schedule. Who did they actually win against? Some teams got a little more lucky with their schedule than others, and also, of course, it's still early on in this season, right? So they still kind of just feeling it out and figuring out what the meta is, what the teams bring to the table, etc. So yeah, it is what it is, but not all hope is lost. The Toronto Defiant, I believe, are not disqualified just yet, so they could still make it into the whole knockout scenario on Sunday. Now, our second match of the day, you blinked and it was over. It was a very quick series. The San Francisco Shock, you know, they woke up this morning and they chose violence, and that is exactly what happened on the server. Florida Mayhem just couldn't answer it, really.
Yeah, this is a terrifying San Francisco Shock. I sort of expressed my disappointment in the Florida Mayhem after the match, but I do need to give massive props to the San Francisco Shock as well. I got a little nervous when Striker came in the first map and didn't play Tracer, and I started writing my letter to Krusty. But, you know, as we went further into the series, I think Striker came back on that Tracer and proved why he is the best at the world at that hero. But also, you need to give massive props to everyone else. I think Nero had a great game. FD God somehow boops everybody in existence. And then the tank line is as great as usual. The thing that did stand out to me is we didn't see Smurf at all today. We saw Super play pretty much every single main tank hero. We saw him play the Wrecking Ball, we saw him play the Winston, saw him play the Reinhardt, and dominated on all of them. We know he's great at everything. We do like to meme him that he's a two-trick Reinhardt and Genji, but he's actually great at everything, and you saw that today. So I'm excited to see if they're going to stick with Super as we go deeper into the playoffs of the May Melee, or if they're going to find ways to integrate Smurf a little bit more.
Cool.
Anything
Nice.
to add, Reinforce? Nice.
No, I just said
Nice.
that they had everything to add at all. No.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, sometimes it'd be like that, and that's okay. Now, we had, of course, also one more match which we want to discuss, and that one maybe a little too close for comfort, at least for some people's spreads. We were fearing for our pick'ems here on the desk as Boston almost dropped it against the London Spitfire. Boston looked so good yesterday against the Washington Justice. Now, today, was this a London Spitfire looks really good scenario, or was Boston Uprising playing down to their opponent?
I actually think London Spitfire looked quite competent on those Reinhardt compositions, and they made it work for them. Boston Uprising, bit shaky at times. I mean, they're not as strong, especially having to force some Tracer player onto Valentine and I'm37, both of those. But overall, I liked Boston Uprising's play. I did think London Spitfire, they showed some moments, especially on Dorado. Very impressive point A hold when they were playing that Zenyatta Tracer composition. That's when you really saw Shaxx come to life and win that Tracer duel. But good match for both teams, I think, really. Obviously, Boston Uprising wins. They get to, you know, win in the win column. But still good for the London Spitfire to show some signs of life moving into the June Joust. They have something to build on. Maybe can build on some of their strengths shown in this matchup.
Yeah, I do want to hit on that as well. I think Johnny made a great point. You actually see the strength and weaknesses from both teams. I think for the London Spitfire, your win condition is honestly Tracer on Shaxx on Tracer, sorry. I think he is so good at it. He plays so aggressively. If they can enable him, we saw in this series, that's how they won the match. When Shaxx was taking over, Hattie gets more space, the rest of the team feels way more comfortable, and they are able to get those map wins. And on the other side for the Boston Uprising, I think you're seeing a major hole with Valentine not really being able to play that Tracer as effectively at the Overwatch League level, and that's where you're seeing them very sorely miss Soon. If they could have Soon play still to this day or have a Tracer specialist on their roster, they'd be a lot more well-rounded. So Boston is trying to figure this out as time goes on, but you can definitely see a weakness there.
Absolutely. And you know what I really love about the past few weeks of play is that if it showed anything, it is that no team will go get ahead of the curve by just playing one composition really, really well. Like, it's not just a one composition meta. Like, you have to be versatile. You have to show a lot of different looks because all the compositions right now in the meta are so very map dependent, and depending on where you end up and which opponent you're playing against, it's not enough to just be really good at double bubble or really good at brawl, and that makes it very, very exciting to watch at the moment, at least in my opinion. Now, something else which also gets me very, very excited is, of course, looking back at predictions, even more so when they were correct. So actually, let's take a look at our predictions for today, and yay!
Nice!
Good job,
correct.
everyone.
That means absolutely
Nailed it.
nothing changed. Yeah. Well,
glad we're all on the
reinforced.
same
That's
page
not
here.
reinforced.
Yeah.
This is not how you get ahead of the curve, though. Like, you need to catch
Frick.
up. You need to make those bold predictions. You need to come in hot.
Yeah.
No, you guys need to do bold predictions and fail.
No.
Oh, is that how you play it?
I
You just
did.
lean back and wait
Coward.
for us to fail.
I'm
Okay.
playing
I
it safe
did.
the whole season, Johnny. This is how I'm
Remember-
going to be. I'm going for the odds every day. So you better hope for some upsets.
Yeah, I think the play is really to play it safe all season long and then go for the upsides at the very end, so you can still at least, have that comfort of, well, I was right all season long. I really only dropped the ball at the end.
True.
At least Danny went with Paris pick. I respect
Yep.
that. That's a man.
Right.
It's a
Thank you.
respectable man. Good
Thank
job,
you.
Danny.
Thank you.
Res-
Thanks,
I'm
Johnny.
sorry that I am not a respectable man to you, Reinforce.
You're a very
With that,
respectable
we're
man.
heading into a very quick break, and then afterwards we're back with our best of the day. The Overwatch League is brought to you by Coca-Cola, the official refreshment of the Overwatch League, and by IBM, the official cloud and AI partner of the Overwatch League. to the Watchpoint Post Show presented by IBM, this time with Zoe unmuted. And our first segment in this second part of our post show is, of course, the Xfinity Speed Boost.
Boost! I did it with you, Zoe.
But honestly, it feels like today Reinforce wanted to go ahead and rename it, you know, just rebrand it.
Oh, yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I mean, I just had to pick out this moment. Generally on Speed Boost, they're like fast ultimates, fast map records, woo, speed. This time, we changed it up a little bit. Here is Boston Uprising trying the hardest they can just to cap point B here on Anubis. And they just can't. They're here forever. They're just like killing all of London Spitfire. But it doesn't work. They cannot cap the point. And finally, I mean, look at the kill feed. It's all white on blue. It's unbelievable. And finally, London Spitfire, they come in, they find a couple of picks, and they're like, well, you know, it's a good defense. Good job, everybody. We made it happen. So, opposite of Speed Boost, a slow boost. So, maybe for next time, Boston Uprising, you guys should get Xfinity's fast connection, so you can cap the points faster. Because this is not acceptable. You need a faster cap time than this. So get Xfinity.
Next level. Next level plugs. Well done. Well done. I absolutely love it. You know what else I love? Segways. And that one leads me into our best of the day. Mine, of course, now would be that plug from Reinforce, but unfortunately that's a little short notice, right? So I have to go with something which happened earlier today. And for me, that was Nero in a post-game interview with Danny. He was smelling blood, all right? Like, they were angry, I already said it. This is what he said in the post-game interview.
What do you think the score is going to be? You versus San Francisco Shock versus Houston again.
I mean, we have way more practice down. We have the experience from the match, so I think, personally, I think it's going to be 3-1 or 3-0 if we meet them again.
3-1. Oh. Okay.
I keep them a map.
All right, give them a map. Just give them a map, and then we're taking the win, right?
Yeah, of course.
All right, I love it.
I love it. You know, first he admits that they, you know, Houston made them angry and they let it all out on another team, which rude, but also kind of funny. And now they're just coming for the Houston Outlaws. Don't even care about the May Melee crown. They just want to come for the Houston Outlaws. I love that. This is great, brilliant. Thank you, Nero.
Yeah. If I'm Houston Outlaws, I'll be sort of scared right now.
Oh yeah.
Honestly.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Anyways, all right. So my best of the day is my man Jerry getting the hack of Hisu, who was about to EMP on Blizzard World. That I thought was a really, really good play. Like, that EMP could have been big, and then right as he sees Hisu, he goes, nope, you're not getting that off. And then, yep, there he goes. Boom.
This happened twice, right?
Yeah, this happened on Anubis
too. Unreal.
Yeah. This guy is...
It's the meme of when their heart like splits in two. Like that EMP is probably going to close out that first point. They're not going to get full hold. And then as soon as he get I just hate to see it. It hurts me physically.
Jerry's just built different, you know?
Yeah,
built different.
True, actually. Yeah.
Oh no. Oh, Jerry. Stay beautiful. Jerry. Stay beautiful. All right. So moving on to my best of the day, and this is why you shouldn't play on the road, because this is Michelle. Dodge, dip, dive, duck, dodge. Literally, if you can dodge a car, you can dodge a ball. Michelle tries his darndest to really stay alive. This is kind of mean by Assassin, I believe it was, pushing him into... He's not even trying to help him. He's just looking, just waving at him. He dodges that one expertly. He even gets a great right click over the car. That was actually kind of sick to stay alive, but then Assassin just kills him anyway. So, kind of dark, a little bit scary from Assassin, but you know, I respect it.
But did Assassin really save him then, like from the cars at least?
No, not really.
I mean,
he's just sort of a bystander in the grand scheme of things.
Yeah, but then he kills him afterwards, so that really makes him a participant more than anything. Yeah, rough times on the streets.
Well,
streets are real.
Stay away. Don't get primal rage into the streets. That's our tip of the day here on the Watchpoint. Anyway, for the final best of the day, there was only one play in my mind. Striker. It might be Afternoon in California. but he's out there serving some English breakfast. You love to see it, man. This is what we need more of.
This was so
Striker
good.
out there on the Tracer, just showing what he's capable of. The mechanical skill is unreal. And with that mechanical skill, he can press the control button very quickly, rapidly, on top of the Tracer he just took down. Love to see it. Good stuff. Oh, that's that. No, get that off the screen. Get that out. Get that out. No, this is too graphic. We can't have this in the league. Unbelievable.
It's still going. He just doesn't stop. How long is he teabagging him for?
The best part of it is that there are still action going on at the point that he just didn't care. He's like, I have a mission and I'll succeed.
He needs his daily squats, you know? He's getting his squats.
Actually true. Never skip leg day. Yeah,
never skip leg day.
That is a fact. And he clearly likes his tea oversteeped. So oversteeped? What's the English here? I'm a foreigner. I don't know. Oversteeped?
I just drink coffee.
I don't know.
I'm a coffee guy.
All right. Okay. Well, he likes his tea strong. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
Anyway, we have more matches, of course, coming your way overnight. So let's take a look at the schedule for our APAC matches, which are gonna go down in the dawn of the morning for us, but of course in the evening, or rather in the morning for... No, stop, Zoe. Stop doing math. Anyway, here, you can just read the numbers yourself.
Here.
I don't know what I attempted. Just look at it. Seoul Dynasty will take on the Valiant. Afterwards, the Guangzhou Charge will face off against the Hangzhou Spark. And then last but not least, we're going to have the Shanghai Dragons taking on the NYXL. Which of these games do you think is going to be the closest one? Let's go with that. That's a good question.
Yeah, Shanghai versus NYXL.
Which has the potential.
Yeah, Dragon versus NYXL.
Shanghai look really weak, and NYXL look like they're making improvements. Like, Shanghai almost lost to Spark, who are a team that we also think is incredibly weak in this region. Honestly, it could go either way, and my pick'ems depend on it, so I don't even know who I'm choosing.
Who do you got?
I think I'm going Shanghai, but I'm going to regret everything, almost certainly.
Oh, he's got the face palm going. Oh, that's
yeah, I'm worried.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm very worried.
Danny, what did you pick'ems look like for this one?
This one, I don't remember, but I think I went with Dragons for Dragons versus NYXL.
Oh
think.
boy.
Yes, I'm pretty sure.
Coming up on the anime arc. I have NYXL. I have NYXL, Spark, and Seoul. That's what I'm going with.
All right, I got Shanghai as well, 3-0. So I was worried if we all went Shanghai that New York was gonna win and just take us all down.
But see, that's the thing. Like right now, every time I picked New York to win, they lost, and when I picked them to lose, they won. So now,
thank you.
It is time for them to. I don't know. Like it's very complicated in that region. Anything is possible, honestly. That's how I see it. Let's take a look at our NA schedule for Saturday, as we still have some more maps and matches to be played out in order to get the final standings heading into the knockout rounds on Sunday. The first one of the day is going to be between the Florida Mayhem and the Paris Eternal. Afterwards, the London Spitfire will go up against the Toronto Defiant, and last but not least, the Atlanta Reign will face off against the San Francisco Shock. And this is a win or lose, no, win or no, but what do I want to say? It's been a very Atlanta Reign needs to win, or they're eliminated from the May Melee lockout rounds. There we go. Finally got there in the end. So yeah, they have to. I think they need to have a really good map score against the San Francisco Shock. So they have to come hungry. But given what we've seen from the San Francisco Shock today, I mean, good luck. Good luck, Atlanta. I don't know. Which one of those you think has the potential of a great match?
Okay. Hear me out.
Okay.
Oh no.
I will.
London Spitfire versus Toronto Defiant. The maps are really good for London Spitfire.
Okay,
There's
are you gonna
Havana
pick
in there.
London?
I think Lijiang Tower is in there. A lot of Reinhardt maps in that series. And after seeing Toronto Defiant today, I predicted a 3-2 Toronto Defiant. I might want to change that. I'm worried now after seeing them today.
Ooh, we're gaining a lead on Johnny. That's what I'm hearing from you guys as well, right? Johnny's falling
that's
down.
What I'm picking up. My ears just picked up. I was like, interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Maybe he's a great Moira. You don't know, Johnny. Maybe Lastro just didn't play up to his full Moira potential. You know, I don't know. All flex supports love playing Moira these days. Very skilled heroes. So, I don't know.
No shade at all. No shade at
no
Moira
shade at all
whatsoever. I hear none of that. Absolutely.
That was a very pointed thing at Vicky for saying that she was a Moira player. So just holding on to that one.
Also Tracer.
So that's
Also
fair.
Tracer.
And
That's
Tracer.
fair. And Bastion. She did say that too. So there's that. Just to round it out, you know.
Yeah.
Let's actually take a look at the NA standings. Just to once more recap where we're currently at here in our May Melee standings. I said it, I feel like 100 times already. That's why I'm getting a little, you know, number tired almost.